How's it going, my brothers and sisters from Aotearoa? Happy good morning, and it's been an amazing morning of rugby. So, I want to break down New Zealand versus France. And for all the French people out there, you were so close. The French really put in a shift and a half, but ultimately they fell a little bit short. So, I want to talk to you guys in relation to this, and let's break it down. So, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And yeah, let's get on with it. So, first up, Sevu Reese, first minute of the game, and he's out. How unlucky is that? That was so unfortunate. Obviously Damian McKenzie ended up coming on, and D-Mac, he was so consistent throughout the game. He was such a strong ball carrier. So all in all, when you have a replacement like this, it's it doesn't really make much change. If anything, you are improving. But Severis has been in such amazing form, and it's horrible to see him go through another injury. So, yeah, very big moment early in the game. And obviously, the French, they put on so much pressure, especially early on, ultimately getting, I think it was a 10-0 lead before before the All Blacks ended up getting back into the swing of things. And Will Jordan put in a shift and a half today. He really put in an amazing shift, putting on pressure, bagging himself a couple tries, and he just had one of those all-round brilliant games. He didn't really have many flaws to his game. He just did everything well. So yeah, big big word on Will Jordan. He had an amazing game, but the French did not lie down. They did not take this laying down. They really put a lot of pressure, especially after that Will Jordan try. The tides kind of changed. We started to see a lot more dominance from the All Blacks. Really started putting on a lot of pressure. And then not long after that, they bagged themselves another try with Damian McKenzie, putting in such an amazing he put in such an amazing darting run just straight to the middle of the posts for it to ultimately fall to Vai and you know bundle his way over the try line. But it's just that pressure, that physicality, which I'm talking about. And Damian McKenzie, he was just at points he was just so slippery. It was very difficult to handle him. So yeah, it felt like every time DMAC he got on the ball, he caused havoc, absolutely absolute havoc. Um, and yeah, it's just after this point, we just started to see the All Blacks take control. The French were kind of keeping up. Villiers, he bagged himself a try early on in the second half, kind of getting close, keeping themselves in the game. Will Jordan ended up scoring another try just after that. And it's like, okay, damn, what's happening here? Now it's becoming back and forth, try for try. They're going left, right, center. It was just all out action, counterattacking rugby. 1 minute with the French, the next is with the All Blacks, and this is try. And then it was Cameron Wokey who ended up bagging himself a try as well, where they just found such open space. And Artie Surveyor was just lost. I don't know where he was. He definitely wasn't on planet Earth. That he just left such a big gap open there. And obviously um, they took advantage of that. But again, it was that constant pressure. It was that pressure that was constantly being kept by the French. They weren't making that many mistakes. The pressure from the All Blacks as well, using their kicking well, using that little inside slick play where, instead of following down the line, you'll have the player track behind, little layoff, little pop off, it's just, the way that they work, they were so free, they were so agile at points, which is why I can see it's very difficult for the French to keep up with them. But they did a very good job considering this. So the French did a very good job considering the quality of the All Blacks, and for the French to keep them so tight, so on guard. I think everybody was expecting a much bigger difference between the two sides. Um, I was. I was expecting about around 15 to 20 points, if I can remember correctly. But the French did well, considering the youth that they had. They did have experience littered throughout, and obviously Villiers, he had a brilliant game up until he ended up getting yellow carded, which I do feel that was a very, very big moment in the game, because we then started to see we then started to see all that pressure get even worse, and then we started to see tries, and then started to get disallowed tries, and I think it was within this moment where we saw Proctor go over the line, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because the ref the ref awarded the try at first, right? He then went to TMO and he disallowed it, but it was because he was the player. He had the ball. He needs to be in control of it at all times. So what they are saying is he went down. Well, from what I can gather, his fingers left the ball, but he still had contact with the ball through his forearm. Um, so I don't know, because technically he's still in touch with the ball, but technically he's not physically in control of the ball. It's dropping, and he just manages to keep contact with it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Was it a knock on? Because that one had me in a little bit of a daze here. I was like a Rain Man trying to figure this out. Obviously, I do tend to side with the refs. Obviously, they are trained. They know the rule book way better than I do. So I'll take that is a you know, legitimate reason not to award the try. But I want to hear what you guys have to say, because this could have potentially cost them the game, because then the French started to put on more pressure. And if Couplebits had to go the French's way, we could have seen a completely different outcome. But the All Blacks were very tough. They were very strong, very consistent throughout the game, and they put on a very good show. But the quality on show for the All Blacks, and then the level of quality that was on show for the French, you would expect a big win. And I think a lot of people were expecting a big win, not, to downgrade France in any way. But I think this is, even though the French lost, I still take this as a big win for them. I take this as a good learning moment. It's going to set them up very well for the other games. It's going to set a lot of young players like Atisogbe. I felt like Atisogbe had a brilliant game as well, but it's just one of these where the French had good performances. They played well as a team. They had everything to bond, right? And obviously, we all know the French aren't taking this massively seriously. It's more now a showcase. It's more a thing of building that next generation, right? And when we have players like Giard, when we have players like Gaetan, Atisogbe, Cameron Wokey, these are all players that are potentially going to be vying for positions later on in the year. So this is a very good point to show what their worth is, what their quality is. So all in all, even though the French lost, I still give it to them as a win, right? Brilliant performance. They kept the All Blacks close. And then it comes to wonder, would this game have gone any differently if the French had to have their full side strength? Um, I don't know. But this side put in a worldy performance up against a world class team. So we got to give them props for that. And I think Razor's going to have a lot of thinking to do, because Galtier, he's he's a bit of a mastermind. He's going to take this loss, and he's going to break it down statistically. He's going to go through it in detail. He's going to nip at the bones to figure out what went wrong and how can they fix it, right? So I think Gaultier, he's going to be going back home, and he's going to have a lot to think about for the next game, but mostly Razor, because I think the French worried Razor quite a lot during this game, more than anybody kind of expected him to worry. So they are going to have a lot of thinking to do on how they are going to be able to break down that French defense much better and keep them out, because the French are rapid. And we've seen this time and time again, where they broke the line multiple times and they caused a lot of stress for the All Blacks. So let me know what you guys think in relation to the game. I cannot wait for these next games, guys, because this was a show and a half. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.